Hey guys, today's episode is going to be a special one, but hopefully only the first of many, many more like it, because today we are reading and replying to viewer comments. Now, to be clear, if you have commented on anything that we've posted on YouTube, whether it's a short, a video, a podcast, anything like that, you have already spoken to me. We have had a conversation. And I always want to make sure that I give a thoughtful response back because I want you to understand that I get where you're coming from, and I hope that you understand where I'm coming from, and I want us all to just walk away realizing that we all love the same things. But recently, we did a video on the potential cost of Grand Theft Auto 6 and whether or not it would be higher than we initially expected as a result of all the pricing uncertainty in the market right now. And man, did you guys have thoughts? It was by far the most commented on video that we've done thus far, whether it was the video itself or the associated shorts. No outrage, no spam, just good, genuine reactions to where games are heading. And Jay and I thought this would be a great opportunity to be able to take some of these comments and have a more comprehensive conversation around them. We picked a handful of comments and they range from the entire spectrum, but the last commenter made a point that none of us saw coming, and you should stick around to listen. Okay, let's get to the conversation. I'll see you in a minute. We're gonna talk about all this, and if you guys want to be part of the conversation, leave some comments. We'll talk to you there in the comments, and then we'll talk about it here on the show. We want you to be a part of the conversation. This is a community. This isn't a dictatorship. So participate. But the first one that I wanted to talk about was from, which I love this username, Very Online Man. So Very Online Man said they could charge $500 and they'll still make billions off this game. Nobody's not buying because of the price. Everyone will pony up regardless. And I think to a large extent, this is correct. I think the vast majority of people absolutely will, whether they are happy about it or not. Yeah,
he's right.
Whether they're happy about it or not, they will do it. And I probably would do it. I would do it because I'm so excited about it. I would be resentful, but I would probably do it. But I believe it's important to note that this is something that whenever I was in marketing, one of the things they talked about there was that anytime you raise the price by any amount on something, you are pricing somebody out. And it just becomes a balance of is the amount we are making for this price raise worth the people that we will lose here? How many people? And there's obviously algorithms, surveys, all the stuff that they can be far more mathematical and analytical about that. But, every time you get that email from Netflix saying like, hey, by the way, your subscription is actually going up by $2 next month or something like that, there are people that quit. So I believe
absolutely.
So for Very Online Man, I do agree with you in large part, but there will be some people that will be priced out, and even more people that even if they're not priced out, they wouldn't be able to participate in the launch. They would have to wait and save, and it's not fun, to be priced out, and I wouldn't want that to happen. And I don't think it will. We'll get to that in a little bit, but
I hear other people say it, and I've said it when they're like, "Hey, are you going to get this?" And I'm like, "No, I'm going to wait for it to go on sale the first time."
And a lot more of that than I used to.
Yeah, me too. And I've caught myself saying, "I go, oh my god, I've become one of those people." But with the $60 game, the first time it usually goes on sale, it's going to be $47, and when it hits its next phase, it'll be $31. And I've even had to learn those steps, which is even weirder. But yeah, there's going to be people, if they say this thing is standard $100, and that's before the deluxe edition, yeah, I'm out. They can bite it. I'll wait.
If you're still here, thank you so much. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. Conversations like this rarely trend, but they do matter, especially to us. We're a small channel and we're trying to build our community. And we want that community to include you. And if you've got more thoughts as we go along through the video, just drop them in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think, even beyond just wild hot takes. Let's get back to it. Yeah, well, that brings us on to the next comment that we had. And this one's kind of the opposite side of things. And this was from the Brain Bag 3506.
Another great bag.
Another great username.
Great.
Brainbag says, nah, even $60 is too much for games. Gaming was supposed to be a fun hobby to be enjoyed at a reasonable price, not dirt cheap, enough to make a profit, but still enough for a struggling mother to afford around holiday or birthday. These prices are just stupid and greedy, but people pay these high prices, which tells the companies that it is okay to give us incomplete games for a full price, and they continue to do so. If GTA 6 is put on shelves for $100 and not a single soul buys it in the first week, or basically the first day, the price will drop. Basic economics. Happy to say I will not be purchasing this game for $100 because it isn't worth that.
I love the realism. I love the stark reality of life versus entertainment. And I agree with Brain Bag.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of people that are very
Yeah,
much where Brain Bag is, where it's like, you know what? I have made it this long without GTA 6, and obviously GTA 6 wasn't out, but if I made it this long without GTA 6 in a world that didn't have GTA 6, I can make it just as long as a world that does have GTA 6, and I don't.
absolutely.
And
Kudos to Brain Bag.
yeah, and I do agree that if nobody bought it, obviously it would the price would plummet. They wouldn't do that anymore. But obviously, we don't live in a world where that would happen. Unfortunately,
Yeah,
we can't get together enough as a country, let alone an entire world of gamers
yeah.
across oceans and things like that.
Or
Which
any other type of people for that matter. We can not get along.
yeah. So, and speaking of across oceans, we actually have a commenter from across the pond that we'll get to here in just a bit.
Your our first international. Wow,
First international
nice.
comment, or I believe. I know some of these others aren't referencing international, but then we have uh, user Rosner Design. I'm gonna say is how it is. Rosner Design, and he just says worth it, and I agree with that too. I see where all of these commenters are coming from.
Yeah,
I understand all of these opinions, because whenever this commenter says worth it, I agree. I'm sure it is going to be. I'm sure the value is going to be insane because if you break it down, I've seen some reviewers and websites where they will try to incorporate the value of a game into their score. And so they would try to do this in different ways, but obviously whenever you try to do that, there's no way to do it objectively. It's always going to be some level of subjective opinion. But one way that
right.
I've seen people try to come up with an objective way to score the value of a game is to take the amount of time that you spend in that game, take those hours and divide what you spent by the hours that you put into it. And if we're doing that, obviously something like GTA 5 and obviously by in the same turn GTA 6, Red Dead Redemption 2, the value of that is insane. You take that when you spend hundreds, thousands of hours in these worlds, the you divide that over the cost of the one copy of the game, and obviously the price per hour is minute.
Yeah, absolutely. But that's a whole group of gamers versus the one person. And I also agree that the game is going to be worth it. I can feel like something is worth it, and then feel like it's kind of not worth it for me where I'm at this point, right? So, and this is probably all for naught because this thing's probably going to launch at standard price, I would think, because they're going to want that day one buy-in. I don't think they want to sacrifice day one buy-in for money they absolutely do not need.
No, I agree.
And
And
they're
so,
going to make plenty.
oh yeah, and so we have two more comments in this section. And so this comment, it comes down basically where I am, where Jay is in this whole situation. And this is from They Call Me Gun, and he says you'll have two tiers: $70 base game, $100 deluxe with early access. Folks need to remember, Rockstar is playing the long game. They want as many people in their ecosystem to engage with online and spend money there. I don't think raising the base cost of entry makes sense with their business model. And this is exactly how I feel. This was what I was saying
Yeah.
back to a lot of the commenters in there, where it's like, hey, I get where you come from. And I do understand like some tension here. I'm a little bit worried about it. But ultimately, I think where they're going to go, because of just the way that they sort of structured it before and where we see where GTA 5 is now, this is what I think is the deal. Like we mentioned before, they like these records. And if you want to break the sales record, which obviously is currently held by Rockstar, but if they want to break their own sales record, how do you do that? Well, you make it appealable, or so you make it appealing to the broadest amount of people, and you do that by not upcharging your game. You leave it the same. Leave it
Yeah.
as accessible as you possibly can to the widest number of people. Then not only do you get all of the news stories for breaking your own sales record, they already got all these news stories because of simply the watch time on their trailer. or the number of views on their trailer. But then you also get this massive install base. Will all of them play online? No. Like I've said last episode, I don't play online. I've not really gotten an opportunity to. But you get a lot more options. You have a lot more people that can potentially pop in and check out the online component of the game. So this is where I think it comes down to. I don't think they're going to raise the price of the game. I think they're going to stay where they are. They're going to sell a ton of them. It's going to be records. And then they're just going to try to convert as many of those people over to online as they can. Anything to add there?
I don't, man. I think you said it. We've said it over and over. We've said it on here. We've said it off here. That I think the sensible approach is the way to go. I think that's what they're going to do. They're going to blow out pre-orders. It's going to be another record is pre-order records.
No doubt. And
I did say last episode, and I want to restate it, that I think a 3-day early access for pre-orders should be their way of saying thank you for giving us the number that we want.
Yeah. I think they'll do. I think they'll have. I don't know what they're going to have cooked up, but I think they're going to have a lot. I think they're planning something big for it. And one thing that I thought was interesting is this brings us to our last comment, which is from a friend across the pond. So we have someone from the UK here, and as we talk about all the price increases that are going on here and tariffs here, tariffs there, we had another great name, Think It's All Over, commented and basically pointed out that the UK's been getting screwed for years. And
they're not wrong.
Yeah, so I'll read the comment, and then we'll kind of go into the details of it. Yeah. So Think It's All Over says, I feel like companies are already testing us in other regions as Doom the Dark Ages is $70 in the UK, so just under 70 pounds in the UK. So just under 95 US dollars. But because it sounds fair as the number is the same, no one cares. We'll get into that in just a moment. The last game I purchased for 60 pounds, that became the standard in the PlayStation 4 generation, was in 2019 and have never purchased a 70-pound game. I have 1 million games to finish, and GTA 6 will be a waited-on game for me. One thing I am curious about is if Xbox will allow people to stream the game on xCloud sometime after the console release and before the PC release, as it technically runs the Xbox version, allowing players on PC to technically play feel like they will be begging Rockstar to allow this. So this is a two-parter. One, this is something that we had not thought about. And yes, this does happen a lot in the UK, and I feel bad for Think It's All Over, where companies will say, I remember this being a big deal with Apple, where let's say they release a new phone and it's $1,200. So then that phone releases in the UK and it releases for $1,200
pounds
because they didn't want people to see the prices, and some American that doesn't understand exchange rates saying wait, why are they paying less than $1,000 and I'm paying $1,200? Well, they're not paying less than $1,000. They're paying less than 1,000 pounds. But in order to avoid that conversation, they made them pay more than 1,000 pounds. So the exchange rate basically
why even put all three prices?
So the Great British Pound is worth more than the American dollar. So whenever he was mentioning Doom the Dark Ages, if it's $70 here and it's 70 pounds in the UK, if somebody in America, obviously the people in the UK know they're getting screwed, but an American looks at that and they're like, oh yeah, that's parity. No, it's not. It is not parity. It is, and I mean, not parity as in haha, but parity as in these are on par with one another. But yeah, it is not. They are actually paying far more for that game, as he said, just about 95 US dollars for a 70.
Even the euro, when they report the euro, it's different. I mean, it's worth more than the dollar as well. So even there, we're looking at not as much as the pound sterling, but still.
Yeah, and the other thing there though that he mentioned, which I also mentioned this whenever I commented back to him, because I thought this was a really insightful point to run there. That is the xCloud service that Microsoft does, where you can remotely play games that you don't even you obviously have the ability to do this. If you own an Xbox, you can remotely play your Xbox and you can play games that you have downloaded on your Xbox. But through their xCloud service, you can also remotely play games that you do not have downloaded anywhere. You're just playing it on a server. And if GTA does not launch, it won't launch on PC. It'll be a while before the PC version comes out. So if Xbox was to come to some sort of deal where you could play Grand Theft Auto on XPlay via this Xbox service on a PC, Xbox would basically get a massive amount of business and traffic and played hours by PC players just chomping at the bit to play Grand Theft Auto 6. That was the two-parter there. So thank you guys. Those were really great comments, really insightful.
Absolutely.
A lot of those, and love the discussion. So keep those coming. Comment on any videos you find interesting, because we'll talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. Make your points. Like, we want you to be heard. Thank you so much for watching until the end, and whether you agree or not, the fact that we're even having the conversation means the world to us. If you've got more to add, hit the comments, because we read them, obviously. And if you're into bad jokes and deep dives into nerd culture, gaming, a little conspiracy here and there, go ahead and subscribe. We've got plenty more where this came from.